This episode of Now This Is Lit is brought to you by Audible. Check the link in the description to get your first Star Wars audiobook free. Everyone loves free things. Click that link. Do it. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. You're listening to Now This Is Lit, a podcast about Star Wars books, the people who make them, and the readers who just can't get enough of them. I'm your host, Meg Dowell. I use she, her pronouns. And today is another new Star Wars book day. And this time, we're celebrating a short story anthology set in the era of the High Republic. The High Republic Tales of Light and Life is out today, and this spoiler-free review should tell you everything you need to know before picking up a copy for yourself. Up until now, the High Republic has only published short stories in Star Wars Insider issues and the bound collections of these stories that Titan has published before and later this year will publish again. The rest of the era's stories have been told in adult, young adult, and middle grade novels, comics, audio dramas, and manga. Tales of Light and Life is the era's first original short story anthology, and hopefully based on how good it is, it will not be its last. The book features 9 short stories from all 9 Luminous authors. That's the original 5. Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Kevin Scott, and Charles Soule, plus newcomers Tessa Gratton, Lydia Kang, Zoraida Cordova, and George Mann. Barnes & Noble also has an exclusive edition that features a story from High Republic newcomer Alyssa Wong. I have not read it yet, so I can't actually comment on it specifically because I don't have my Barnes & Noble edition yet, because when you pre-order it, it doesn't come out the day, it ships the day that the book comes out. It doesn't get to you the day the book comes out, so I've read everything else, but not that one yet. I'm getting there. I'm really excited. These stories take place at different points throughout the High Republic timeline, from before Phase 1 to after the fall of Starlight Beacon. In some instances, directly after the conclusion of Phase 1. One story in particular actually takes place directly before the start of Phase 3, so a nice lead-in to what's to come. These stories are told from the points of view of different fan-favorite High Republic characters, including Axel Greylark, Marta Rowe, Rupert Natani, Ram Jamaram, Afi Hollow, Renestra Rowe, and Bel Zettifar, as well as some new characters as well. While not essential reading for High Republic fans, the book does serve as a comforting bridge between phases, including teasing what's coming next in Phase 3. You don't need to read this book before Phase 3 starts to understand what's going to happen in the first book of the phase, in other words. What the book does do to prepare you for what's coming, however, is reintroduce you to the characters, places, and politics of the era. We haven't gotten new High Republic stories since June, and as this episode is coming out, it's now September. And that's a long time, especially if, like me, you don't have the luxury of rereading any High Republic stories before this collection comes out, and won't have time to do so before the first book of Phase 3 releases in November. There are a lot of characters in this era. There's a lot going on. But this book allows you to spend some time with them, for the most part in much less intense, emotionally draining moments. You really feel like you get to know the central characters better without the pressure of having to leap chapter to chapter in a book with stakes so high you might have to take a break halfway through to recover and breathe. I breezed through this anthology in a little over a day, and that's because its stories are neat, compartmentalized, bite-sized vignettes that pack a punch, but don't overwhelm the senses. They're borderline addicting. Once you finish one, you can't help but tear open the next to see what's inside. Of course, if you have a favorite author or character, you don't have to read this book cover to cover from beginning to end. You can skip around. The stories are independent of one another in context and plot. The beautiful thing about a book, usually, is that once it's in your hands, you can do whatever you want with it, as long as you're nice to the people who made it. I read these stories in order because it's how I prefer to read a book. But you don't have to. I'm neither here to judge your reading preferences, nor to tell you how a book is best enjoyed. This is definitely one of those books where how you consume it is up to you. Tales of Light and Life, in addition to being a delight to read, is a fascinating look at Star Wars authors both returning to characters they've previously written and testing out new points of view they haven't had the chance to exercise yet. Yet you can feel the love each author has for these characters and the overarching era in every page. Something I've always admired about the High Republic and its writers, there are many things, this is just one, but it's a big one, is that their passion for every story they write burns through to your soul. You can feel it as you flip through the chapters. These writers pass around characters and plot lines with a kind of trust reserved for healthy, nurtured families or lifelong friends. It is a phenomenon we have not seen in a Star Wars series for years, strictly due to the nature of the publishing schedule. And clearly, it is something the powers that be won't be able to resist attempting to replicate in future projects. Because it works. Because everyone, especially the creators themselves, can't get enough of it. If you love the High Republic, you will love this book. If you've never experienced a High Republic story, and this book is your entrance into a new, wondrous world, you will love it too. It is for everyone, for Star Wars fans of all ages and interests. It is beautiful, it is heartwarming. At some points, it is heartbreaking. But that is, after all, the definition of a Star Wars story. Something, or a collection of many somethings, that makes you feel and question and hope and want better for you, for your world, for the universe. Star Wars: The High Republic, Tales of Light and Life is available now wherever you get your Star Wars books. Now This Is Lit is part of the Faraway Fandom Network. It is produced by Devor Mondam and written, hosted, and edited by me. Jose Jimenez designed our podcast art. Keep up with the show on Substack at starwarslitpod.substack.com and find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can support the show by following that Substack or the show itself, or telling someone you know how much you love it. Season 2, it's just beginning. It's going to be lit. For more book reviews and Star Wars book celebration, follow Star Wars Book Reviews on Instagram.